Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
I'm bigger and bolder and rougher and tougher. In other words, sucker, there is no other. I'm the one and only dominator. I'm the one and only dominator.
So glad Robbie hooked this up. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Me too.
Isn't this great, man? I love soccer. Here we go, Galaxy. Here we go. Here we go, Galaxy. Here we go.
We are top the league, say we are top the league. We are top the league, say we are top the league.
Well, hello again, and welcome to episode 104 of There's Still Time, the AFTN podcast. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
And we're joined by a special guest for this episode. We're joined by Harjeet Johal.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for having me.
Har is sitting here with a hat on, and I have to say I am so excited after that game. I'm sitting here with something that sounds quite similar. What about you, Steve?
I'll leave that alone for this episode.
That's what your wife says, I think, after most weeks as well. But fantastic 2-0 win for the Whitecaps. Takes them to the top of the Supporters' Shield standings. Top of the league. Clearly, we're going to win it now. We should just really plan the parade route.
I know. I think Robson would be a good option right off City Hall.
Barry Robson?
No, this is Robson Street.
I thought he was going to be there waving his arms about to stop the traffic or something. But I mean, Har, what did you think of the overall performance tonight? It was a commanding and dominating one.
I was pleasantly surprised by the performance today. We know the Whitecaps are a counter-attacking, fast-paced team. I think teams expect that, so I know I was surprised to see the Caps maintain ball possession, especially in the first half, and I think it caught the Galaxy off guard. They weren't ready. They didn't look like a team that could just sit back, and they were out of sorts for the entire match.
Yeah, I think initially they wanted to give up possession to the Whitecaps because they thought they could essentially try to counterattack them. But the Whitecaps, their defending and their counterattack over the Galaxy was effective, and I think that frustrated the Galaxy big time. And they weren't able to come up with anything in the first half, and actually for most of the game. And then I think the second half, it started off, the Galaxy had a little possession in the first 5 minutes, and that's when it kind of fell apart for the Galaxy because the Whitecaps started counterattacking and finally took advantage of the two chances.
I thought LA were dreadful tonight.
Yeah,
I mean, for MLS champs, and I know they always start the season pretty slow, but I mean, looking at the stats, first half, Whitecaps had 56.9% possession, fell to 52.1% in the end, but they restricted LA. LA had 6 attempts on goal, only 1 was on target, two were blocked, and 3 were off target.
Yeah, the chance was almost like a half chance. It was the Edson Buttle. The cross that came into Edson Buttle, and he kind of flicked it onto Ousted, and Ousted had to be sharp to stop that, but it was really a half chance.
Yeah, I mean, it was one save, it wasn't even really on target.
Yeah.
But something which Robbo alluded to after the game was that the team managed to make sure that Robbie Keane and Zardes did not have one shot at all in the game. And I mean, that's fantastic, and a testament to a fantastic performance by both DMs. And for me, I thought Kenneth Waston was one of the men of the match.
Oh yeah, Waston completely shut down Zardes, and I think Tybert, and Keane alluded to it too, that he's used to now Tybert being in his back pocket, essentially for the whole game.
Russell Tybert, he seems to be able to get under Robbie Keane's skin, not just this match, but in previous matches as well. And I think his confidence is growing after those 2 appearances with the Canadian men's national team. He was buzzing all around the pitch, and he frustrated Robbie Keane, as did Kendall Waston and Pamadou Kaw. I thought the 3 of them, including Matthias Laba, they had an outstanding game shutting down the Galaxy and just protecting David Ousted. He didn't have very much to do today.
No.
And I think Tybert, they've obviously found the right tightness to have his man bun at, and I think today they need to just measure
measure it.
Yeah, because I mean that's the way forward. But before we talk about some more of the individual player performances, let's hear a little bit of audio now from Whitecaps coach, a very upbeat Carl Robinson, and another kind of droopy performance from the old curmudgeon, or the godfather if you want to listen to Carl Robinson, Bruce Arena. 7 minutes to go at the moment down Portland, and Portland's winning 2-1, so you're top of the Supporters' Shield. What does that mean to the club? First time you've ever done it, so.
Yeah, it's one game for us, Michael, and it's important we won tonight because we won last week and we probably didn't play as well as we should have or could have. Not from the fault of the guys. They don't purposely go out there and try to perform badly. Sometimes it happens and the levels aren't what they should be. And I asked them for a response today. But after 45 minutes when it was 0-0, I was a little bit worried because we were playing well. But it's about winning. And, we managed to get the 2 goals in the second half against the best team. Say what you want, and they are the best team. They prove it year in, year out. And, they got some of the best players. So it was a good result for us, but it's one game. So we'll enjoy it. I've said to them, enjoy it tonight, but tomorrow it's gone because we've got a big game on Wednesday.
What was the key to the defensive effort today on Keane and Zardes? Neither one of them even got a shot in the game.
No.
What were you guys doing right?
Well, you can't give good players space. I spoke all week about Robbie especially, and how smart he is and clever he is dropping into pockets, and he can destroy teams on his own. And we had to make sure that didn't happen. So we've done a lot of work with Matty and Rusty, and I thought both of them were absolutely fantastic today in their work rate, but their tactical understanding of what we wanted from them as well. And if you limit their best players space and time and don't allow them to get shots, then you've got a good chance of winning the game if you can put the ball in the back of the net the other way.
Coach, overall, I know you said it's just one game, but right now you could be first overall in the league. You're the first time ever a 4-game win streak for the team in MLS. It must be a confident team right now, or you must feel good about the team right now?
Yeah, I think they've got to feel good about themselves because, as I said to you, we just put on a performance against the best team. And, what we've got to do, as I've said last year as well, is be more consistent. If we're more consistent, then we become a very, very good team. I don't want to be a good team one week and a very poor team the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's about consistency. But with young players, you have inconsistency sometimes. And, my job and my staff's job is to make sure that we get them more consistent than not. And, that's part of our focus here. But as I said, we'll enjoy it. It's one game. It's another game off the calendar. But we've got 2 massive games coming up. Obviously, the first game on Wednesday against a very good Columbus team.
The way that Kyle and Watson have been playing, winning everything in the air, and I've noticed this right from the beginning of the season, you must be delighted with the fact that you could very well be the best team in the league in terms of your aerial defensive prowess right now. It just towers it.
Yeah, I think, people talk about goal scorers and finding goal scorers, but the centre-back position is the hardest one to find in any team. When you find a good one or good ones, it's important you get them into your team and get them into your squad and you develop them. And we've been very fortunate, obviously bringing Kendall in midway through last year, Carr coming in at the start of the season, replacing Andy O'Brien and another top experienced player, and bringing in Diego as well. I've still got Timmy Parker and Christian Dean who will play parts this year. So I'm happy with all the 5 centre backs I've got, and I will carry 5 centre backs. I think you need 5 centre backs during the season. So they've started off very well. Diego's missed the last 2 games for something, and he's back in the fold on Wednesday.
Last 3 games, the team it lost out in the possession quite badly in some of them. What was the difference tonight? First half in particular, totally dominated LA from start to finish. You looked in complete control.
I just challenged them. I see it on a daily basis. They're very, very good players. They got some talent, this group in here. They really have. And as I said, it's consistency. When you train from Monday to Friday, there's no. I want them to work hard. I want them to get that winning mentality, competitiveness between themselves, and if you do that Monday to Friday, then it will come out on Saturday. And I see them play on, during the week, and they're outstanding. They really are play some good stuff. And, sometimes we'll get it right and sometimes we won't, as we've seen in the last 2 weeks. But it's important when you don't get it right that you grind out victories. And we did that last week. We got it right today and we played very well. But they've got to start believing, believe in your good players and showing your good players, because everyone can talk you up, but it's about doing it consistently and keep doing it over a period of time. Before the game or after the game?
When he went over to you before the game.
Yeah, maybe you should ask him.
What about after the game?
Again, maybe you should ask him.
Okay.
They were the better team tonight. They outplayed us the entire match. I think they outcompeted us from the start, and it was a big factor in the game. Give them credit. They outplayed us in every aspect of the game.
What can you take from this game?
Can't take anything good. Maybe personally, every player can look at their performance and make sure that doesn't happen again.
The attack really wasn't.
We didn't do anything well tonight. No excuses.
How much different is this Whitecaps team than the one you saw last year?
Who knows? I mean, you don't know anything this early in the season. So probably ask me that question in August. I'd have hopefully an answer for you. But, right now, obviously, they have 4 wins in 5 games, so that's real positive.
What do you think of Rivero, the new striker from Uruguay?
Good player. Yeah. Good player.
In the past seasons, you guys have struggled at the start of the season. Is it okay for, considering this is a veteran team, that you still have confidence that there's time to bounce back? Obviously, a long season.
Well, we have 30 more games,
yeah.
29 more games. There's a chance to bounce back. Yes.
It's Keane. I think he was wavering a little at the end there.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened.
Did you feel like you should? There was maybe a better opportunity if you came earlier and got used to the pitch instead of maybe missing?
I don't think you get used to this field that quickly. It's obviously a home field advantage, but it's the same feel for both teams. It's a bad surface and all, but that's not an excuse. We could be here for a week if we showed up the way we did tonight. It wouldn't make a difference.
So that was Bruce Arena, who obviously you can tell by his tone was not completely satisfied with his team's performance in this one. And
hello, I'm Bruce Arena.
Yeah. So yeah, and it was a dreadful performance by them, but I think the Whitecaps actually took it to them and made them look dreadful in a way. I don't think it was definitely not a given that the Whitecaps could, because it could have been easily one of those games where both teams were horrible.
I was a bit worried, and as you heard from Robbo there as well, we've seen it before. The Whitecaps dominate a half, don't get the goal, but have the chances. Although they didn't have tons of chances in the first half, but you did kind of wonder, are they going to get this breakthrough? I thought it was going to be 0-0. I just somehow didn't sense the breakthrough coming, but I didn't think LA were going to do enough to get through. But I think we have to look at some individual performances. Pedro Morales, back on form, and it's like, when he's on form, I could watch him spray his balls like all night long.
But essentially, I think, and the thing is, once that first goal, the 2 goals went in, you could see it in Pedro Morales that he was even more in another gear because he wanted that 3rd goal, and he wanted that 3rd goal for himself, because there was a couple times where he made runs at the net and tried to score himself.
Yeah, he was playing a little bit deeper, but that pass that he gave Manny for that first goal,
reverse pass, yeah.
Sublime.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Yeah, Pedro's coming into another gear. It's taken him a few games to get going, but I believe now he's tied for the league lead in MLS assists with 3. So he's a perfect setup man. He's distributing the ball with his passing abilities. Scoring touch, not quite there, but he's finding ways to contribute to help the Caps in other areas, and that's all you can ask for because the Caps are winning. Everything seems to be going right now. And Pedro will score, those goals will come. For now, it's a team effort. They're getting the wins, top of the table. It's a pretty good time to be a Cap supporter.
And the thing is with Pedro as well, and we talked about this in last week's episode, most of his goals last year were penalties.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's only scored 3 goals from
open
out.
play.
Yeah, and I think we've maybe expected a little bit. Maybe our expectations were too high of him. And if he gets more than 3 goals from open play this year, we haven't had penalties. That's why he's not got a goal.
And the thing is, he led. And I saw somewhere on Twitter. I wish I could reference who tweeted it out, but I think he led either the team or he led both teams in touches today with about like over 80. So that was a huge thing. And he's basically, like you said, he was coming back deeper sometimes, collecting the ball deeper, getting away from their holding mids and getting the ball out there. And again, reiterate, the pass to Mane was just right on the spot. And probably if they do a pass of the week for the MLS, that would definitely be the pass of the week.
Yeah, I think it was 83 touches for Morales tonight. It was Mark Weber that had a tweet about that. I mean, that's a good thing. I mean, this is a team that it likes ball touches. I mean, we saw it with Rodriguez a few weeks ago, but I mean, Pedro on fire tonight. Yeah. Another mention we have to give, Nicolas Mosquera. I think he possibly had his best game as a Whitecap so far.
I think so too. I think he created like a number of chances himself. Obviously, I missed. I thought it was a pass when Rivero scored the goal. Obviously, he was attempting a pass, but it was cut off by Pinedo. But just great play and great vision there on a couple plays there by Mosquera.
Yeah, Nico, he's really stepping up this season. I think he's a lot more comfortable. He looks comfortable out there. He's doing very well in practice. And just having Octavio Rivero here, I think it's helped him immensely. Those two have played together before on the youth national team in Uruguay. You just see them link up, play together. They have chemistry, and you really need that on a young team. And I think this is going to be a great season for Nico. And it's probably only going to get better when they add Christian to share, because the 3 of them out there, I mean, who knows what they're going to be capable of. And you add Pedro in there, this team's going to be high-flying pretty soon.
Yeah. Definitely a little bit of Uruguayan ESP going on tonight, because, I mean, Rivero did well, cut inside, and right away, he just left the ball. He knew that Mosquera was going to take it off his feet. And, I add in a third Uruguayan. I'm excited by this.
Yeah, and then we should also, we mentioned earlier about the Morales pass. We should also mention Mane, who scored the goal from the pass.
Yes.
A very solid game from him. There were times in the first half, and we mentioned it while we were sitting together there, I was getting upset because he wasn't making the runs off the ball. He was basically, there's a couple times when they were deep, Mosquera was deep in near the end line, and he was trying to cross it back into the middle, and Mane would hold up way, like, just almost at the edge of the box and everything like that. So, but he made when he got the pass from Morales, made a great run into the middle. Looked like he was heading towards the far post, but then shot it back into the near post and confusing the goalkeeper, who a lot of people thought he should have had it, but it was a confusing shot and put him in there.
I had a few concerns about Mane in the first half, just from everything that you've said there. My biggest concern in the second was when he put the ball up his jumper. I thought he'd knock some chick up, but it turns out that was for Jordan Harvey. So that was okay. Yeah. But that goal, we've been saying, we hope he gets a goal. Will we see a different, more confident Mane once he gets that first goal? And you saw it when Eric Hurtado came on as well. He desperately wants his first goal this year. And I would have started Matix on the left wing tonight. I just thought, coming back from Jamaica full of confidence, that was the way to go. And I had tweeted out about a minute before Mane scored that Matix should come on, and then Mane got the goal. But
you were right, Matix did come on eventually.
Yeah. And at one point, I thought he was going to keep running, possibly
I was going to mention
over the Lions Bridge or something.
Maddox needs. I think the biggest thing in Maddox training right now, and he needs to go through drills where he can locate the end line, because it seems like once he starts dribbling with the ball, he just keeps going. And luckily, they have those barriers there. Also, you could go right into the.
I do think pitches are bigger in Jamaica. Everything's bigger in Jamaica.
There's more grass there.
I thought Kakuta's goal was fantastic. He turned Tommy Meyer inside out. It's not often that we get to see Scooter use his speed, his touch, and his shot all in the same play. Usually one of the 3 fails him. On this particular occasion, they all came together for him. Now, if he can do that consistently, I think we'll see him starting more and more matches. And you have to wonder how fresh he was having sat out that last game. I think perhaps his legs, his confidence, I think it will only grow, and certainly with goals like that, he's going to be a big key for the Caps.
And the thing is, Mane, it was interesting because you were saying that after he gets his first goal, he'll might see different Mane. It was a little bit later where he there wasn't another attack and the ball was put up in the air or something like that, and instead of taking the ball down and trying to shoot it, he actually tried to head it right back into the path of Rivero, and so that was an impressive thing. Another guy, well, let's talk about Rivero getting his goal. There's a second goal, and obviously he's going to be that lack of confidence he got from missing that one game without a goal. I think that's gone away now, and so I think he's back on his game as well.
Yeah, Rivero was outstanding again tonight, and
he was frustrated early though. It was some early frustration, especially with the ref.
Yeah,
him and Toledo did not seem to get along at all.
Yeah, I don't think the two of them are on each other's Christmas card list. But Rivero, Golden Boot winner. Caps, Supporters' Shield winners, MLS Cup winners. Rivero, Golden Boot winner, Rookie of the Year, MVP. It's written in the stars.
You got to add in Newcomer of the Year as well. He's up for that one. I talked to Octavio after the match. Mauro Rosales was nice enough to translate because I'm not fluent in Spanish, no matter how much I use Google Translate. Octavio thought it was the best performance of the season for the Whitecaps. He was thrilled to score a goal, but more importantly, very happy that the Caps were able to secure a win. He pointed to the fact that the ball possession played a huge part in what they were able to do out there. It led to chances, opportunities, and they just looked a lot more different with more possession of the ball. And Octavio was very happy. He couldn't have dreamed of a better start to his MLS career with the Caps. And overall, I mean, this guy could lead the league in goals. He could do great things, and it's a terrific start for Octavio.
So Har mentioned that she had talked to Octavio. We haven't got that audio because that's Har's exclusive, so watch out for her piece on her site next week. So let's hear the audio that we do have from the players. We're going to hear first from clean sheet merchant David Ousted, defender Kendall Waston, midfielder Kekuta Mane, and your captain, our captain, my captain, Pedro Morales.
2-0 victory. David, talk a little bit about that center back pairing that kept that clean sheet for you, and not only that, but the work yourself.
Fantastic. I think they cleared almost everything today, and one of your esteemed colleagues told me that I didn't have a lot to do today, and he was right. I had an easy night because we did a lot of great defensive work.
Team feeling like I think depending what's happening in another game, you could be first over on the league right now. For the first time, this team has won 4 games in a row. It must be a different feeling in this locker room than past years.
There's definitely confidence in the locker room, but there's also knowledge of we need to be even better every time we go in. Now, when people are going to play the Whitecaps, they're going to say, well, they're really good. Now we need to beat them. So we need to be even better. We need to work even harder now if we want to keep ourselves up there. And it starts Wednesday with a game at home again.
The fact that Con and Waston are just almost automatic in winning anything defensively in the air, I mean, you must have enormous confidence.
Definitely. You know what? They did fantastic. They, like you said, they won everything. And those two in the air, I think is going to have a hard time anybody beating them. Now we just need to clean up the little play around the box and keep pushing out, and we'll look good.
Kendall, just overall thoughts on the big win, keeping the clean sheet, and defeating the reigning champions?
Yes, it was very important for us to win today because last game was a good game. So today we got to continue with the same pace. And thank God we won. So now this game is over. Now we got to think only in Columbus.
What was the strategy to keep Robbie Keane and Zardes so quiet? You guys didn't give them a lot of space, and they didn't manage very many shots on that, if any.
Correct, just to be close to them because we know that they like to play between each other and they like to make two 1-2s. So that I think that the team today was very compact. We keep the ball, so that give us like a second breathe, and that helped us a lot because we got a good possession. And today we did the things that we didn't do last game. So you see, obviously, that today was a better game for us, and we scored 2 goals, 2 good goals, and that is very important for us.
There's one play in the first half there where you're kind of ramping up the crowd near that corner where you're putting your arms in there trying to get the crowd going. You kind of feed off that atmosphere, just the raw crowd noise?
Yeah, sometimes we just need the people get inside with us. We need, this thing is a group thing. Us, players, staff, and the fans, we are together. We want to make history together, so that's why I did that thing.
Kuda, just thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I thought it was a great performance by the team, and I mean, we had our chances and we take him, and I feel like we played the whole 90 minutes and we dominated the game, and then we took our chances, and I thought it was a good performance.
How big is it too, beating the Galaxy, not just another team, but the Galaxy?
It's very important for us every single game. The fact that they're the defending champion just gives us a lot of confidence going to the next game, and then we are very hopeful. And it's a great team. It's a great team, and we came to this game with a lot of confidence, and we believed that we could win the game, and then we did. So that's a lot of applause to the guys. So it's an important win for us.
Did you feel it personally, this was one of your best games of the season?
I wouldn't say it's best game of the season. I felt like that goal gave a lot to that. But I thought I played well in Chicago in the first game and against Toronto. But the goal definitely completed my performance. I feel like if I had a goal in Chicago or the first game in Toronto, people would say that probably that's my best game. But it's up there, definitely up there.
Well, very, very important game. I think the whole team, all players play very, very, very good. Very good performance, tactical, fresh, and I think I have more possession of the ball the last game. I have so many situations of the goal, but just 2 goals, but it's very good.
Pedro, that seemed like your best 90-minute game this season. Like you look more engaged defensively. Does it help you to move on the attack when you get more involved defensively?
Yes, it's no problem one play like this. Robo sent me one play in the middle. Just I need a defense more, but for me it's no problem. For the team, I think it's no problem. But I feel good. I feel happy when you play like this, when you have the ball, and now just now enjoy the game, and now wait for the next day game Wednesday and maybe another win.
So that was the audio from a very joyous Whitecaps locker room. As always, I like to send Steve into the away locker room. So we've got some audio now. I really wanted Steve to go in and try and wind up Robbie Keane just by asking him about the turf, but instead it's like Har got in there first, as we're going to hear with a fantastic question. So we're going to hear from Robbie Keane. We're going to hear from a very depressed AJ DeLaGarza and Gyasi Zardes. I like Gyasi. Let's go with Gyasi Zardes. He's come on strong. Here's the LA audio.
What are your thoughts after this result?
We have to give them a lot of credit. They were the better team, there's no question about that. They outplayed us. Throughout the whole night, and second half, first 10 minutes, we were on top of them, and then we go down and concede a goal, so kind of killed us a little bit. And then from then on, they were, certainly the better team. Got the second goal, and then killed the game off. It was a difficult night for certainly for us.
Gyasi said maybe the chemistry needs to get a bit better. It's still only 5 games into the season, but do you think that?
Yeah, well, listen, they play better than us. It doesn't matter about chemistry. It's tonight that wasn't obviously there, but it wasn't because we weren't trying. It was just the fact that they were the better team. It was simple as that. So sometimes in certain games you just have to hold your hand up and accept it and move on and look forward to next week and try and put things right. So we have to give them a lot of credit.
Is it a good little wake-up call? Early on in the season, to have a result like this go their way, where
it seems to happen to us quite a lot, doesn't it? At the start of the season, start off very, very slow and then end up, kicking on and then winning it. Hopefully that'll be the case this year.
What was the pitch today? The surface?
Same as every year we play here.
Will you be pleased to know that BC Place is getting a new pitch in May, so the next time
they are?
Maybe it'll be a bit
Grass?
No.
Not that
Still
nice.
turf.
Okay, well, it's not that good.
What did Vancouver do?
No, they just play better than us. They were a better team all around. They kept the ball well. They counter-attacked very, very well. And at the end of the day, they scored 2 goals. So, as I said, throughout the whole night, you just have to hold your hands up and just accept that. We weren't good enough tonight, and they were the better team.
It seemed like Russell Tiber was your shadow tonight.
Yeah, it's the same every time I come in.
Is it a different Vancouver team that you saw today rather than compared with last
Yeah, I think completely. I think if you look at the squad now that they have, that Carlo has inherited now, it's his own team now. Where before it wasn't really his own team. It was from previous managers. So even though they had still a few players, but he certainly, I would say now this is 100% Carlo's team, and how good of manager that he is and his knowledge of the game. So I knew it was only going to matter of time before he had a good team that wants to try and play football, very attack minded, and we've seen that tonight.
Robbo wanted us to ask you what you said to him before and after the game.
Say that again?
He said he wanted to know what you asked him, what you told him before and after the game.
What did I tell him?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I don't remember? Oh, okay. Because he mentioned specifically in the press conference after
What did he say?
He didn't say what you said, he just said to ask you what you said.
No. What we talk about is private.
Oh, okay.
How's it going, man?
AJ, just all around rough night. Just tell me a little about this performance.
Oh, again, we not late goals, but second half goals, and we did what we wanted to do in the first half, and that was be even or ahead at halftime. I don't think we created many chances. The final third, for me, all the way up, guys, our passing could have been better the entire night, and we give up 2 goals. Well, now you're not gonna win many games away from home like that. There's not much you can take from this game. We just got outplayed, outworked, and all the way around. I don't think any guy won the battle tonight, probably.
Gyasi, just a tough night all around. Let's talk about this result a little bit.
Yeah, I can talk about myself. My teammates, they were good today. I felt like there's multiple times I wasn't a threat going forward. Got to be a threat. Got to put the defenders on their heels when I'm playing up top or out wide.
Kind of got run over a little bit by this team, doing it fast and quick.
Yeah, this team is very fast on the counterattack. So when we were attacking, if we lost the ball, they were running with it already.
Just one of those nights where just nothing goes right.
Nothing goes your way. The surface don't help, but every bouncing ball just was in their favor. It was unlucky, but that's the game of soccer.
Even your jersey was misspelled.
I know. I heard. I didn't pay attention to it. I didn't know, but apparently I have 2 Z's in my last name. That's funny.
It's funny, but it's almost emblematic of the way this game went. Just everything.
Everything was just off. It was just off,
Is there still a little bit of confidence with the team? In the past years, you guys have started slow before too, and then you have a veteran team that can keep going and build up to something.
Yeah, to be honest, we're one of those teams, that have a lot of veteran players. Last year, I think we started off worse than this year, and it's a long season, and we're gonna move and stride forward.
You You only got only one win in the first 5 games, but do you feel okay about how this team can kind of come together?
Yeah. I definitely feel like okay about the team coming together, and as we move forward, I feel confident that we will get more wins.
What did Vancouver do to make it difficult for you and Robbie?
They just had a lot of numbers back. They had a back line of 4 that didn't really go up. Their wing backs stayed tucked in, which was good on their part, and their center defensive mid will come back and help. He didn't push too far up ahead up the field.
So it's always nice to hear when the MLS champs are sad and have been ripped apart. And Harry, you've got a really good stat about LA.
Well, I was just looking this up earlier to confirm. The Los Angeles Galaxy have not won a MLS road match outside of the state of California since August 20th, a 4-3 win away to Colorado. So they've struggled on the road. That includes the playoffs. For some odd reason, they're better inside the StubHub Center. Who knows when they're going to turn it around and get it better on the road. But yeah, for a home side, if you're playing the LA Galaxy, maybe you'll come up with 3 points like the Caps did.
And the thing is, I think the majority of those road wins in California were against Chivas. So it's basically they're playing at home anyway, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference. DeLaGarza did mention that he was talking about playing Seattle next week, and he was like, if we're not going to win on the road, we have to win at home. So yeah, it's a big game for them next week.
Now let's just have a very, very quick chat about some things that happened in MLS today. So as you say, Seattle head to LA on Sunday.
But they played Houston today.
And a very interesting incident, Steve.
Yeah, it was a very high kick. I'm sure it's going to come up in instant replay with Simon Borg. It was a very high kick, right straight to the chest. I'm not sure who the player was that received it, but it was Pineda that got it, and he got red carded right away. Seattle ended up holding on for that 1-0 win over Houston, but who isn't holding on for a 1-win wins over against Houston?
Another thing I loved seeing today was Toronto losing.
Yeah.
Always fun to see that anyway, but just the nature of it, they actually went ahead this time. They were 2-1 ahead.
And then they gave it up.
And then they blew it up, and I delighted to see Sean Maloney getting his first MLS goal. Chicago, David Akem.
Yeah. We're lucky. I think we're lucky not to face
I'm really
him.
glad he didn't play against us. He was really good.
Yeah.
He's kind of got a bit of Kakuta Mane syndrome in that I think his feet sometimes are a little bit too fast for his brain. But he looks a really good acquisition. And Toronto, Joe Bendick kept Toronto to a 3-2 loss. He came up with about 3 or 4 massive saves.
But then his 2 goals he gave up, he was kind of blamed for it by a lot of TFC
Yeah.
fans. I didn't see the one of the goals, but I think the second one, I think he was really screened on, so I don't see how he could have had a chance on that one at all.
Although Jovinko's first goal for TFC,
I think that was the worst out of it.
Oh, that was, I don't know. He had so much time to get to that.
I don't know.
I don't know what happened.
He had happy legs or happy feet or whatever you want to call it. Another thing we should mention, the interesting thing was Colorado. Once again, not scoring. I think
it's not interesting. That's expected now.
No, they have yet to score this season, and I think there's gone 17 or 18 games without a win now, straight, since last season.
It's
so
a
you
shame
can
for
essentially
Pablo, because I really like Pablo Mastroeni.
You can essentially call them the new Chivas of the MLS.
I think Pablo got sent off.
And let's just finish our quick MLS roundup with the best thing, after the Whitecaps win, the best thing in MLS.
Yeah.
Caleb Porter, Oscar Perea, little handbags, tiffs. At the end of the game, if you haven't seen it, check out Ben Jatta's tweet, or check out the highlights of the game. Caleb Porter, I'm trying to think of a nice word to describe him.
Pereira wasn't that much better because he essentially was handing him a Kleenex because he was saying that Porter was crying during the whole game about everything. Essentially, it was the big.
That's funny though. But
it's a big Ridgewell. Essentially, it came from the Ridgewell incident when Ridgewell was
elbowed in the face.
Yeah.
That's
where it all basically came from, and then Pereira was basically handed him a Kleenex. Porter said, "Look at the scoreboard, buddy," and then
But Porter went over with a huge grin on his face, which a coach should not do.
I think he was smiling because the Kleenex thing was happening. So it was like we could only see Porter coming. We don't know.
Yeah.
I personally don't like him either. But I'm just saying, like, you don't know what the context was. It just was funny to see because we were mentioning that last year Robbo kept having run-ins with Porter, and then Martin Pert had that run-in with Oscar Pereira.
Yeah.
So you're wondering who was taking sides on what side in the locker room.
It was just fantastic, and I hope Porter gets banned for the season from the touchline.
With WrestleMania happening last Sunday, I couldn't think of a better triple threat match. Martin Pert, Oscar Pereira, Caleb Porter. I think we should have a throwdown. Just put 3 of them in the ring. They can settle it. The winner gets 3 points for their team.
And I say Robinson comes in with the chair late and finishes the match off.
Yeah, let's go old school, ECW.
Yeah, we got to find a role for Marius in there as well.
Well, I mean, we've got Pedro Morales. He's a old famous wrestling name. You've got Khan Wasson at the back. They're the Nasty Boys. Yeah. Fast guys on the wing. You've got Kikuta Mane, Hurtado, Matix, West Coast Express. Just so many things we could do with this.
Yeah, the Luchadors.
As you can possibly imagine, I had planned to do something with this before WrestleMania, but never got it finished.
So we should also mention the women's national team. You have 30 seconds to no, just kidding.
Yeah, as if we were to talk about that. So let's look ahead now to Wednesday's game. Columbus Crew are coming to town, and you know what that means, Steve? It gives me the chance to play my favourite song from an MLS team.
Feel me? And we ain't got no basketball team. We ain't got no football team. So everything's yellow. Columbus Crew swag, baby. Yeah. Yellow gold, yellow shoes, yellow beach, Columbus Crew. Yellow diamonds, I want a yellow coupe. Yellow swag, Columbus Crew. Yellow swag, Columbus Crew. Yeah, yellow swag, Columbus Crew.
So that was the edited version of my song there. If you want to hear the original, just Google it. But anyway, as we say, Columbus coming to town. Whitecaps going for 5 in a row.
And they got a lot of luck in Columbus's last game because Federico Higuain threw a hissy fit and basically got a second yellow and got sent off, and he won't be available for them.
Absolute ass. It's like...
No, it's a good thing.
Well, yeah, but I mean, if it was one of your players that did that, that's just a ridiculous thing to pick up. Not just a booking, but a second booking for. Yeah. It was farcical. Columbus struggle a little bit on the road, especially out west. Whitecaps are going to make it 5. It's in the stars. Robbo's going to make some changes.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe some minor changes. I don't think it's going to be a full-on change or anything.
Well, I mean, he alluded to it. This is what Robbo said about what changes he might make on Wednesday's game.
Interesting. You got your first midweek game of the season. Yeah. Do you anticipate making some lineup changes?
You want to know my team already, dear? There will be some changes, yeah. There will be some freshening up in certain areas, so yeah, it's safe to say there will be. You know, I've had to leave some players out today, the 18, which was hard for me, young kids who've done well, and that hurts, but that's my decision I have to make, and I've asked them to respect it, and they will. But they'll all get opportunities. You know, you don't play 3 games in a week and play the same team week in, week out. So there'll be consistency, there'll be changes. But it's important, you know, the guys left out of the 18 today, I spend some time with, my coaches spend some time, because they're very important to me if you're going to be successful.
So I think there is going to be some changes.
I think Maddox probably coming on, right?
Yeah, it's hard really though to change a team that played as well as today.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you keep the back line the same? Do you put Rodriguez back in? I mean, what do you think, Har?
I would probably guarantee or be very confident that Diego Rodriguez is going to get in there.
For Cobb?
Yes, for Cobb, because we know Pomadou's a bit older. It's short.
Yeah, you don't want 2 games in
It's a short span, you know.
Or is this the chance for him to blood Tim Parker?
Oh.
I'm not sure about that. Maybe a right back if you want to.
Oh, actually, that's true.
Banniger took a few knocks today.
Yeah. Oh, Beitashoe, we didn't talk about him earlier. I'm just going to say he's continuing to be dreadful as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So out of position, so many times. But yeah, let's drop Beitashoe. Let's put Parker in. Let's see Parker have an outstanding game. Beitashoe doesn't get back in the team. We trade him, get that salary off the roster. And maybe Rodriguez in the middle or Christian Dean in the middle. Because Christian... he's going to have to get minutes.
No,
soon
it's
to
got to be
come back.
Rodriguez. I think
Diego all the way.
because Christian Dean, he needs to get minutes before he can play MLS. I think he needs to have a stint at WFC 2 before he does that. We'll talk about that later.
And you've got the match against San Jose on the weekend, next weekend. So you could easily put Beidejour back in. He was from San Jose. He's played with the Earthquakes. You could put Kaw back in there.
Sure.
So it's a short little rest
Do you
for
get
some of the
Harvey?
guys.
Did Harvey get in there when? And
But you don't want to have mass changes in the
Yeah,
back
that's
line.
true.
Is Jordan still on the team? I haven't seen him.
Well, you usually ask him about trade rumours, so
Yeah.
have you not asked him about that yet?
No, what would I ask him? He's not in the lineup. He's not doing media, so there's not much to ask.
ask Gersh if he's getting traded for Mike McGee.
Yeah, that was Steve's rumour that he's starting. In the midfield, I think we'll keep Tybert and Laba because
Yeah, I don't see a reason because those guys can still handle it. And Kofi, if he's still got that knee sprain, there's no point of rushing him back in.
do you rest Pedro?
That's the big question.
Yeah, put Mosquito in. But the thing is, Pedro doesn't play that well on the road, so you kind of
Yeah.
want to keep him in for a home game.
I would perhaps play Pedro, see how he is for the San Jose game. Maybe you bring him on as a substitution in that San Jose match, but we were just talking about how well he played today, how much steam, confidence and momentum he's gaining. I would play Pedro. Maybe you take out a midfielder and maybe you put Earnshaw in. I don't know.
No, I would max changes I would make up front is maybe one. You don't want to make too many changes. I think Maddox is the only guy that should come in. Who you want to take off? I think probably Kakuta.
Yeah.
And you don't want to, even though Kakuta again, he has a goal now. You don't want to break his confidence. But you can bring him on as a sub as well for that game.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that Earnshaw didn't come on today because they didn't need him because they were 2-0 up. But it's like, are they saving him possibly for some kind of role on Wednesday?
Possibly, yeah. He maybe comes in earlier than normal.
So Columbus, who do you feel the danger men are going to be with Higuain out?
I think it's the problem is I think I don't even know who would go into their spot into Higuain's spot. Who would be that playmaker? They rely on him so much. I think they're going to be putting a lot of balls from the wide areas. I think guys like Ethan Finley is going to be a threat, and they're going to be throwing balls into guys like Kai Kamara into the middle, and I think they're going to be trying to get those cheap goals in the box.
Well, Kai Kamara can always be dangerous. I don't know enough about Columbus. I've not really seen. I saw that game against TFC, so it's kind of hard to really gauge what happened there because TFC went down a man. So I don't know too much about them. I'm confident that Whitecaps are going to win. I mean, who do you think anyone in particular we should watch out for?
I'm not too bothered by Columbus. I think the Whitecaps will top them over. Maybe Justin Miram, Kamara.
I think you got Will Trapp. I think Will Trapp might play more of a role in the playmaking ability because he usually plays holding more, and I think he's one of those guys that is a young guy that can maybe they move him up into more of an attacking role.
It's hard to say. We don't see them that often. And
I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen.
You're going to tell me what's going to happen? We'll see.
Stone Cold said so.
Well, the Whitecaps played really well last year against the Crew, so I am confident that they'll get the win. But just to be on the other side, you hope that it's not a banana skin.
Let's get your predictions in. Har, you can start. How do you think this is going to play out?
Well, for this particular match, I predicted a 2-2 draw, but LA Galaxy failed to show up. So I'm going to go with the scoreline that we saw today. I'm going to go 2-0 to the Caps.
I think this is going to be the game that we've been waiting for all season, where the Whitecaps are just going to rip a team apart. I'm going for 4-0 Whitecaps.
I will go 3-1 Whitecaps. I think it's still a 2-goal cushion. I don't see them ever giving more than a 2-goal cushion. It just doesn't seem like in the cards for them.
So before we wrap up this episode of the podcast, very quick chat about USL team. Whitecaps 1-1. Finally got their first win. Well, I say finally, it's only their second game, but 3-0 win against Austin. Didn't actually play that well, but they got the 3-0 win. From the two games that we've seen, I had a nightmare for the Seattle game. I was heading down, my car broke down the States, so I never actually made it down to Tequila. But what's your very quick thoughts on what you've seen from the USL team so far?
I think they were maybe caught off guard in the Seattle game. They played them in preseason, and I think they won. I believe they won, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, the Whitecaps played a lot of their starters for much of the game, whereas Seattle played two very different lineups and mixed their starters and reserve guys. So that wasn't as good a gauge as folk thought. But against Seattle, they were horrible defensive.
Yeah.
Against Austin, the defence was great. And big shout out to Spencer Ritchie, his first pro game, his first pro clean sheet. And he's really going to challenge Carducci for minutes this year.
Yeah, I thought. I agree with you. It was it was kind of like a totally different team. There were a lot of changes done from one team to the other. It was good to see them. They were scoring goals on the counterattack. And I think Austin was just, once the first goal went in, Caleb scored that. Basically, it opened up Boston, and they took advantage and drove it right down the middle.
Yeah, and like Austin kind of dominated the game, and they had a way more shots than the Whitecaps. It was something like Austin 316, I think.
Yeah, possibly.
Stone cold.
But we should mention the one goal by it's hard to tell how good it was because, or was it a goalie error because they only give one angle. But the Craig Nitty goal, 6'5" center back, little bit of a pudgy guy, but he just struck the ball and it hit the top corner. Don't know if it was goalie error though. Goalie maybe could have done better on that, but it was a wicked shot.
I think the goalie ended up in the back of the net with that.
Yeah.
I had just tweeted, someone was asking me about him, so I said, he's really good at set pieces, but I kind of meant like his head. I didn't think it was going to have a free kick like that. But what a strike that was. Yeah. And there was a couple of people, Slamo, our podcast friend in particular, who was surprised that we signed Nitty ahead of Derek Bassey. Yeah. Nitty's looked really good. It's another quality centre-back in the Caps.
The Derek Bassey thing, I think he's just been away from the game too long, and I don't think he's been. His skills deteriorate if you don't play for 2-3 years. Yeah. So I didn't expect too much from it.
So the Whitecaps 2 aren't in action now till next Sunday, where they play Orange County, and then a couple of days later they play against Sacramento. So we'll keep you updated with that. I'm hoping to maybe get to Whitecaps 2 training on Monday, so we might get another few articles coming up on AFTN. So watch out for that. But that's it for this episode of the podcast. We're Stephen Mayer cock a hoop. Not sure what phrase I'll use for her in that regard, so let's just leave that. But before we go, let's tell everyone where they can find you online. Har?
You can find my Whitecaps work at Red Nation Online, and you can find my women's soccer coverage, as always, on Equalizer Soccer, so I hope you check that out if that's what you like.
Yeah, if you like women, Har's your woman.
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
And I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. You can also find me online, sadly, looking at pictures of AJ Lee, who announced her retirement from wrestling on Friday, and I'm heartbroken.
I did not know that.
Yeah, absolutely heartbroken.
It was trending.
Maybe that's why she was getting such hugs from Paige.
I think it was
after the game.
This has turned into a very wrestling podcast.
Okay, let's stop.
And
her name was trending on Twitter the other day. I think she was #1. I didn't know who the hell she was.
Oh, she's just beautiful. Absolutely stunning. CM Punk's wife.
Oh, she's a punk.
We should do a wrestling podcast. They get a lot of hits, probably much more than our Whitecaps
Can't believe
ones
they didn't
are.
give us any interviews that time.
Yeah, we try. Har and me tried to get interviews when WWE were in time.
In Abbotsford. They did not give a break.
Bad news, Barrett. We nearly had him on the podcast. Next time he's in Vancouver, we will get him on the podcast. But you can also read my stuff online. AFTN, aftn.ca. I'm also the Whitecaps beat reporter for MLSsoccer.com, so watch out for my stuff on that. So I'm not going to be on a post-game show after the Columbus game. Steve might do something. I'm off to see Bell and Sebastian. But until next time, as always, thanks for listening. Take care. And on the Supporter Shield leading Caps.
When you're listening on some far-flung corner of the globe to the World Service of a Saturday afternoon, crackly reception, interference, cosy, marvellous. Somehow comforting, isn't it? You know, legendary names, fathers and sons, on the terraces, cheesy peas at half-time, pint for dad, mum's at home making the tea. Oh, everything's all right with the world, isn't it? Saturday afternoon is football. Hmm?
10 minutes left. Yeah.